All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, and you got me for the next half of the show. So buckle up. Let's talk about what these markets have been doing. Why don't we start with corn? If I go up to the corn board and punch on that one, there you go. Let's take a look at what's happening there. Not a lot. We're up a little bit in the fronts, so down a little bit in the backs. I mean, somebody might try to tell you that there's some bull spreading going on. Maybe not a lot here. Or I could call this a smorgasbord. Little something for everybody, right? We've got 2 cents higher in the March. 6.83 1/4 is last there. May's 6.79 3/4 last, and that's up a half, or up now 1 cent. And we've got July up a quarter, 6.68 1/4. Let's take a look at soybeans. Soybeans, what do we have happening there? Well, we're lower across the board. The fronts aren't as bad as the backs. March down 7 1/4 to 15.17 1/4. May down 8 3/4, now 9 cents lower to 15.12 1/2. But let's take a look and see how. Let's go all the way out to say Novi New Crop and see how they are. That's down 11.5 cents, so another 4 cents lower than the fronts in Novi New Crop November 23 soybeans. So the front's not as bad as the backs, but still lower across the board. Let's talk about Chicago wheat for a second here. Chicago wheat's going to be up 3 3/4 cents in that March contract. 7.46 1/4 is last there. About 2 cents, 2.5 cents off the highs. May is up 3 1/4 cents to 7.53 1/2. There you go. How about the hard red wheat in Kansas City? What's that look like here today? It's up 3 cents pretty much across the board. 3 cents higher in the March to 8.44 1/2. 3 cents higher in the May to 8.40 even. Moving right along, they say, the spring wheat in Minneapolis. What's happening there? Well, we've got March up 9 cents to 9.10 even. We've got May up 5 1/4 cents to 9.02 1/4. And finally, July up 4 1/4 to 8.97 1/2. All right, and finally, let's take a quick peek at cotton. We'll get to our next guest analyst. Cotton's down 21 points in the front March. 84.60 is last there. These prices brought to you by Bar Chart. Our content brought to you by CHS and Mr. Jim Warren. Jim, thanks for joining the show here today.
You bet. Thank you.
All right.
Well, we got.
Have at it. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, there's several things going on fundamental-wise to get our attention. China's going to be on holiday next week, and there's a lot of anticipation of increased demand from them once they start lifting these restrictions on COVID, which they are lifting more restrictions, even announced this morning. Also, chances of rain down in Argentina this week and next week. So seeing how that plays out. There's a lot of talk about, is there going to be new money coming into the markets, commodity markets, start of the year? But what's catching my attention really is the charts. And you mentioned one, November soybeans. That catches my attention first here. It broke a trend line yesterday that goes back to September, and also has a head and shoulders top pattern, which projects down to around the 1325 area. So more downside potential there. The old crop beans, however, are in the middle of their upper channel, so don't look near as bearish as new crop. March wheat, all three classes are just about to hit their downtrend lines. So it's important to see how they react there, if they can finally break through or not. And we actually have double bottoms in Chicago and Minneapolis wheat. And then you go over to March corn, also some interesting things there. The March corn broke its trend line that was all the way back to June. They did that last Friday. This week, they've tested it as support. And as long as that support holds, the first target is around 715 on it. New crop corn is struggling a little more. It broke a trend line going back over a year on the continuous chart last week. And now it's just hovering right around there. So it's trying to decide whether it wants to go higher or lower. But those do give me targets as a producer where I should be looking at possible some extra sales. As far as other news, exports are delayed till tomorrow because of the holiday on Monday. And we did see a sale of corn to Mexico announced this morning. So poor corn exports, but at least we're still getting a smattering here.
Yep, sounds like without a ton of fundamental news out there, you've been looking at those charts, and technically speaking, everything's kind of lining up to be just a little bit weaker. So maybe, I don't know what it's going to be, but what could be the next bull run? Are we going to have to kind of wish our lives away for that acreage report? Who knows? But right now, we're looking for something to get us back in the driver's seat. Appreciate all that technical stuff. That's all good, Jim. I really appreciate that. I like that stuff too. So thanks for coming on and taking time out of your day. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with me after this.